Hello, I'm Kaiser and welcome to Moose Reads. Before I get started, I want to say that the opinions that I give here are my own opinions. They are extremely subjective. If I dislike a book, it is not a reflection on the author, and it is not a reflection on people who do like it. Different people have different tastes, and that's okay. Today, I will be reviewing Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. This is the first in the Farseer trilogy. It is a fantasy novel. The description says, Young Fitz is the bastard son of the noble Prince Chivalry, raised in the shadow of the royal court by his father's gruff stableman. He is treated as an outcast by all the royalty except the devious King Shrewd, who has him secretly tutor in the arts of the assassin. For in Fitz's blood runs the magic skill, and the darker knowledge of a child raised with the stable hounds and rejected by his family. As barbarous raiders ravage the coast, Fitz is growing to manhood. Soon he will face his first dangerous, soul-shattering mission. And though some regard him as a threat to the throne, he may just be the key to the survival of the kingdom. 4 stars. Content warnings for animal death and child abuse in this book. I actually tried to read this a few years ago because I'd heard good things about it and was intrigued. The problem then was that because Fitz starts this book out very young, my inner narration also started out skewing young, and it made the novel feel juvenile when it was supposed to be an old man writing his memoirs. I wasn't enjoying it, and I put it down, but I wasn't entirely convinced it was a no-go, so I had the vague thought that I might give it another shot somewhere down the road. This year, Literary Diversions is starting a Fitz-along where she and her viewers can read all of the books in the 6 connected series over the course of 2.5 years. So I thought it was a good time to give it another go. But after watching the announcement video, I promptly forgot about it. I was reminded again at the beginning of the month, but since we are supposed to read Assassin's Apprentice by the end of February, I couldn't wait a long time for the library to loan me a copy. Fortunately, the audiobook was available right away, so despite my general dislike of the format, I checked it out. I did consider that having an actual narrator might help with my previous issue, and ultimately it did, though it did present its own challenges. Also, because I got it as an audiobook, my brother decided to listen to it with me, which means I'm going to end up reading it much faster than is planned for the Fitz-along. My brother forgets books very quickly, so waiting 2 months between books simply won't work. Not that I mind, I'm not a big fan of spreading series out over long periods of time if I don't have to. Overall, I liked this book. My biggest problem with it, I suspect, is largely a result of the audiobook format. Several chapters began with asides that often felt awkward and displaced. To some degree, I think this was a failing in the construction of the novel, but as my brother pointed out, probably in a physical copy of these books, these asides are clearly differentiated and easier to separate from the rest of the chapter. I also had some issues with Fitz. I liked Fitz well enough, but the man is ridiculous. He was good at just about anything he attempted, but somehow he seemed to only remember he could do one thing at a time. I'm not saying this is a problem with the book, by the way, just a comment on the character. I do really like the Fool, though, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of him. That's really all I can say without getting into spoiler territory, so if you don't like spoilers, now is the time to pause or close the video. For everyone else, let's talk details. The 2 main places where I had trouble with the asides at the start of the chapter were when he started by announcing the Queen died of a drug overdose, and when he said he went through a manhood ritual. Both of these were fine on their own, but they also both came at the beginning of chapters where the events described at the start didn't seem to fit into the events throughout the rest of the chapter. This wasn't as big a deal with the manhood thing. When exactly it happened has little impact on the overall story. The Queen's death, on the other hand, is pretty significant, and when it happens does kind of matter. I'm pretty sure that aside came at the start of the chapter where we find out Chivalry dies, so juxtaposing the 2 deaths made the entire timeline feel muddled. Also, with regards to Fitz being an idiot, I think maybe I actually like complex court intrigues, so it felt frustrating that he seemed to forget he was an assassin anytime he was doing something else, like training with the skill, and stopped paying attention to literally anything happening around him. Similarly, when Burrich is attacked and nearly killed, he spends a very short amount of time considering who might have done it, gets distracted, and then, because Burrich is mad at him, completely forgets to investigate once he gets back home. It felt astoundingly obvious that Regal was scheming for the throne, so it felt a little ridiculous that Shrewd didn't understand Verity's reservations about having him choose his bride. I figured Regal wasn't choosing a bride for Verity, but rather a bride for himself once Verity was killed. And I was right, though admittedly I wasn't entirely sure how that was going to shake out until we got there. I also felt like the wrap-up at the end of the book felt a little rushed. I understand that the main plot was finished, but we speed ran through Fitz's recovery, his return home, his shifting relationship with Burrich, and his uncertainty about trusting Shrewd, and I feel like we should have taken a little longer to go through some of those. All the same, it was a pretty good book, and my brother went ahead and used one of his credits on Audible to get the next one, so look forward to that eventually. That's all I have to say about Assassin's Apprentice. If you like this video, I hope you'll watch more in the future. Thanks for watching this one. Bye!